I'm Jeremy Till, and this is Amplify. Carey Kepler, rock star, the people's champ. Look out for, guys, 2016 Masters CrossFit Games athlete, 40 to 44. Also, my sister. We're excited to have her on today. She is a most motivational, inspirational, impactful woman, a mother of two, an Ironman, ultra marathon runner. She just has done everything under the sun when it comes to sports conditioning, training, and she's a champion. So we're just excited to have her on today to share her story and how she got started in the world of health and wellness. So we're going to have Carey Kepler tell her story and give us some insights to what's going to happen this year at the CrossFit Games. All right, guys, we're here again with a great guest, Miss Carey Kepler, the champion. What do they call her? The original people's champ. Coming back with us with a great interview talking about the mind of a competitor, a champion athlete, multiple games, CrossFit Games athlete, ultra endurance athlete, 50K mile runs, Ironmans, all sorts of things, all as while being a mother, a wife, a business owner. So we're really excited. And to say, you know, not the least, but she is my sister, and I'm very excited to have her on. And so, Carey, how you doing?
Great, Jeremy. It's great to be here.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Well, cool. So we love just to dive in, really, because we always like to know people's stories and just kind of where they got started. And we're really focusing on you. You know, you're a very multifaceted human being. And we're going to really hone in on your sports career as an athlete, the origins of what got you into sports, and then how you moved into, you know, wellness and training and all that kind of aspect of your competition side. So just tell us how you got into team sports and kind of where that all, you know, germinated from.
Yeah, so I started early with some basketball in the Teal household. And really that's where it started, man. Started our Lubbock City League, and with my sister. It was always Amy and I playing some basketball, whether it's out in the front yard. Started with team sports right then, and never forget going to the gym super early with our pops, hitting the tricep press down, skull crushers.
So give us a time frame. You say your sister. So what grade were you in?
Fourth grade.
Fourth grade when you started playing basketball.
Yeah, started playing basketball.
And then you started when did you go to the gym with your father?
Started probably going to the gym sixth grade.
Sixth grade.
Yeah, hitting the gym with Dad, and just kept that pattern through college.
So I recall, but I mean, you're a multi-sport athlete. I mean, when you went to a private school in junior high and you were or you crossed over, you were a junior high or elementary private school, and then you went to junior high.
Yeah,
so
all private school, but really, I really stuck to basketball.
Oh, you were?
I really did.
You never were a cheerleader?
I never did cheerleading.
Oh,
I got sick the day before the tryouts. And I remember I had the option to move forward and do it or not, and I chose not to. But that was it, man. I didn't even do volleyball. I look back and I think to myself that I wish I would have, but it just wasn't what I did. So
okay, so sport basketball through high school
all the way,
and then as you were leaving high school, you got the opportunity to go play college basketball, and then I believe your freshman year you're at San Angelo State.
Yes,
and then y'all won the title, the national title, or the conference title, or what was that?
Conference title. We won. We went to nationals. We missed nationals by one place, so we missed out on that. But that was my freshman year, so I got to experience that as a freshman. You know, just a phenomenal basketball team. We didn't continue that journey in terms of playing basketball through college and being that good, but kept that journey for those 4 years, and then moved into other sports after college. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like moved on to, in fact, I think you got me into triathlons.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So
you crossed over, you played basketball, then you crossed over and started to do triathlon?
Started to do triathlons. I did my first one in at Texas State with you in a swimming pool and on my mountain bike. I did do some adventure races, you know, where you do the kayak, trail run, mountain bike. So I was hanging out doing some of those, and then that kind of peeled off into the triathlons.
Mm-hmm. And so I know you're an Ironman And did you do any marathons prior to doing Ironman?
Just in that training for Ironman, I did one, and the Austin Marathon. Did that. I did all the steps. I did the sprint, the Olympic distance, did the half iron, I did the marathon, and then I went on to do the Ironman.
And what year did you do the Ironman?
That was in 2008. Ironman in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Mm-hmm. And so what made you pursue that race?
I just had Savannah, and my girlfriend, it was about 3 months. I was at the gym, and she said, Carey, I'm thinking about doing an Ironman. It's in 1 year. That was in July. And I said, let me go home and ask Chris if he'll help me take care of Savannah while I train for this. And Chris said, yeah, I'll help. And so basically set my journey. So it was a year training for Ironman that got me.
And how old was your daughter?
Savannah had just turned 1, and her and Chris ran through. She was in a stroller, ran through the finish line of the Ironman with me.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So that was 2008. Was that in the spring, or what was the timeline of that?
Oh, you know what? Let's step back. That was 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we stepped back. Then I had Stone. So after I did the Ironman, then I had Stone, and that took me a year, 9 months. And then after Stone is when I said, okay, let me try CrossFit, the real deal, because I'd never really done CrossFit. I'd been pregnant the whole time we had started the CrossFit, in a sense. And then I did the Ironman, and then it was let me do 3 on 1 off as prescribed with zone diet and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. So that brought you into the 2009 CrossFit competition season.
Correct.
So you went to the CrossFit Games in 2009.
Yes.
And you ended up doing pretty well.
Got 3rd that year, and that was when the last year they had it at the in Aromas.
Mm-hmm.
And
then, so you took 3rd that year, and then fast forward the next year, you qualified to go to the 2010 CrossFit Games when they moved it to, back then it was the Home Depot Center, and now the Stub Hub.
Yep.
So you were at the first inaugural games at that stadium.
Yes.
And how was that experience?
That was pretty awesome, man. That was like big time. So that was like being on stage. That was performing. I feel like a little under pressure. I was probably obviously putting that pressure on myself. And it was, a great experience. I was kind of taking it all in, if you will. Just what it really looked like to be a CrossFit athlete competing at that level, and really deciding if that was where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. This was something I was going to continue.
Right. And then 2011, you, Lisa, and Lindsay Smith all went back to the CrossFit Games.
Yes. We swept the podium at regionals and went back.
Mm-hmm. So you were 3 years at the CrossFit Games.
Yes.
Right. So it's kind of setting that up. And I believe, and then even through all that training, you move into 2012, and then you were on the team for CrossFit
2012, we went as a team. And then that next year is when I ran an ultra 50 miler.
Yeah. So in that 2009, so, it's kind of like looking at that time frame of pre-children, post-children, 4 years at the CrossFit Games as an individual and a team in 2012, and then an ultra 50K. Was it 50K or 50 miler?
50 miler.
50 miler.
Yep.
Okay. So just kind of describe all that experience and what that all looked like. And do you feel like you were a better athlete after having children?
I think after you have children, for me, I think your focus is, there's so much intention and focus because you have more things to kind of juggle, if you will. And so you get real specific and you eliminate things that you don't have time for because you just don't have time for a lot of the other stuff anymore. So you really start to go, okay, what are my goals? What's my intention here? And you start to dial in a little bit better. I think too, I think a little bit of a pain tolerance, like what I'm really capable of, at least for me. I think just going in and saying, man, I can do anything, is, that I put my mind to. So I really believe that was the case and is the case for me. Mm-hmm. Really for me, it's just a flip of a switch. It's a decision. And I would say that's for anybody if they understand how it works. When you choose something and you powerfully choose it, then really you just flip that switch and you just turn the page.
Mm-hmm. And so just for the listeners, I mean, you had 2 children, but you had 2 home births.
Yes, I did. So I was at the birth of my sister's daughter, Hannah, who's 18 now. And when Amy invited me to be there, and I was there for her home birth, it never dawned on me that it would look any different. And so I experienced that, and I just, when Chris and I got pregnant, I just was like, well, of course, we'll call the midwife and we'll have a home birth.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That's awesome. So that brings you up. So from going from CrossFit team competition to running a 50-miler, what was that correspondence like? What made you decide to do that?
Chris ran Leadville, which is a 100-mile race up in Colorado in Leadville. And when he completed that, because he did complete that in 29 hours and earned his belt buckle, I just watched some video and it looked like something that I would try. And I had the opportunity with Valerie Hunt and one of my girlfriends, Susie Alderete, and a couple other ladies that looked at where we could do a 50-miler. And I said, okay, well, I'm in. I'll do that. And I never really intentionally decided not to do CrossFit because I was still training CrossFit. In fact, I did a lot more CrossFit training and style training, and it was just a long run on Sunday, maybe 2 to 3 hours, and then maybe an additional run throughout the week that really trained me for that event. And then all of my CrossFit training. And we as a group just decided to do that, something different. I've always liked to kind of do things, many things. And so I thought, well, I'll do this.
So what was the longest run that you did while you were training for that?
Let's see. I left my gym one day at 4:00, and I think I did 18 miles around Austin and came back, and that was my longest run.
18 miles. Mm-hmm. And then you ran 50.
Yes.
That's pretty legit.
I think so.
So, I mean, to say, though, it's kind of your girlfriends ask you to do it. So it's kind of like if it's the right question at the right time, whatever right. Sporting event you might be up to doing.
I might be in, yeah.
That's about right.
If anybody has anything out there they would invite me to do.
What did you do? 2013, I just kind of track it through your CrossFit Games. You were on the team. Didn't qualify for the games that year. That was 2013. Took 4th at regionals. And then 2014, you were what age in 2014?
39.
Right, you're 39, and you went to the regional CrossFit Games competition.
Qualified for regional.
Right, and then you had a little injury.
Yep. I had done some damage to my elbow. In fact, tore some ligaments and tendons in my elbow. And after that was 12 weeks out, pretty much doing nothing.
Yeah. So, how was that?
It's frustrating for an athlete to take an injury of any sorts. I think the real question was, was I going to have to, was it really going to ever get back to my normal, which would be a strong elbow, and support system. But, man, I totally took the 12 weeks off. I did nothing, with my upper body. And, I slowly started to incorporate movements back in. Started real light. And that year was when that was 2014 injury. In 2015, we qualified, went back, did the Open, and we qualified for regionals, and I went to regionals on the team.
Mm-hmm. And you also were last year in the Open or the Masters regionals as well.
Mm-hmm. Did that, missed out by no intention of competing, but finished 22nd in the world, and then did the Masters qualifier weekend and ended up somewhere around 25, I think, something like that.
Mm-hmm. So then we fast forward over the course of your 2009, you took 3rd. You participated in essentially regionals every year from 2009 when you didn't get opted out of it, from 2009 to 2015.
It seems 2016.
So that's 6 years of regional competitions, and what was that? 4 CrossFit Games competitions. And now we fast forward, what's your age now?
41.
So you're 41 and you went through the open, the qualifier, and tell us about this year and what you're doing with the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, so this year, it was back I went out to the games last year, and honestly, I ran into Annie and Sakamoto, and she and I looked at each other, and I said, "You're going to go for the Masters next year?" And when she kind of gave me that look like she was, I thought, you know what, I'm going to compete with her on the field. And I came back to Austin, and I put in the text to the coach that I would have be programming, Jesse O'Brien. And I said, okay, I want to do this. And I knew when I hit send, I was committing. That was the switch, the flip of the switch. And so that's when it started. So back in August, I said, let's go. And he said, okay, let's do this. So really, I started the earliest, I would say I started games training this past year. And you know, I mean, in my mind, it is just it's a long road. I know athletes do this consistently year after year, and it's just amazing. They continue to amaze me. And I've taken these breaks and gone to do other things and whatnot. But yeah, it's just this year, the Open, I did well at the Open. I finished... Gosh, what did I finish in the Open?
27th.
27th in the Open. Oh, right. So that put me in an opportunity to go to the qualifier for the Masters, which had to be top 20. So that weekend, 4 workouts in 4 days, basically, and went in and did it. And I think the one day, Monday, when I had my last workout and I had the opportunity and the time to do another one over, and deciding which one to do over, and just getting with my community, surrounded by the community, and having them cheer me on in my last workout, being so fired up, decided to go for a max deadlift one more time, and got my class to do the deadlift with us, and I PR'd my deadlift at 340. And, I couldn't hit that on Friday. After that, and my performance that evening, it was like I'd closed the book. I was good no matter what happened. And as we watched the scores roll in, and I finished 14th in the world, and I earned my way back to the games. So
yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
I think I put it into the phone. I think it's 38 days until the CrossFit Games, approximately.
Wow, is that
38,
what it is?
36.
Been counting weeks.
I downloaded an app that does countdowns to significant dates, and I put in the CrossFit Games in the countdown towards getting out there to Carson. But so with all this stuff, all this training, all this competing, I know there's points where you question what you're doing, and it's like, am I doing it? How am I doing it? What am I doing for? And then you're doing it. And so it's kind of like, what you're learning, what have you really learned, or like, why do you do this in life?
Yeah. Obviously it's a challenge. It is a mental challenge is what it is. Yes, you're challenging your body physically, but your mental ability to stay focused and to know you have a job, because it does become a job, and that's okay. It is fun, or I wouldn't do it. And there are days that I want to cry like a baby and quit, but I don't, and I know that the reward is great. And really, it's all the work in showing up the day of, and turning off the mind and going to play. Because you've put in the work, you've done it all, and just go to have a good time and do what you know how to do, makes it all worth it. The days are long, the workouts are long, man, and it's tough on the body, but it's the challenge that keeps me saying, hey, the discipline and the challenge of doing it that just keeps me going.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like the Masters has it made in the sense that, you do have to qualify. You got to be the best in the world. And the 40s Masters division has to be one of the toughest divisions. Number one, 40 to 44. I mean, there's some fire breathers in there that are still swinging with the young guys. Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty impressive. But for the Masters, you get 3 days. And then I don't know if you know all the specifics of how many workouts y'all will do per day, but essentially 20 women are fighting for the podium, the first place. And we know up the road we had the champion of the 40 Masters is headed back to to the games, right?
Yes.
And so what's your perspective on going out there and competing? Are you going out there to have a good time? Do you want to win? What's your expectancy of it?
Yeah, I mean, I am going out there to win. I am putting in this work, and I know that the work that I put in is me going as Carey being the best athlete, the strongest athlete, the most healthy, fit, recovered, and I'm going to have a good time, because I know if I'm not having a good time, I'm not winning. So it's a combination of the two, but I'm putting in the work. If you watch and look at my schedule and my sleep hours and the food, the preparation, I'm just not going to have fun.
No doubt.
So,
I mean, I can never forget. I remember we were in Aromas back in 2009, and it was the fifth workout of the day. It was the wall ball snatch workout. And I believe you got first place in that workout. And afterwards, you did a jig. And I'll never forget, we were about to go out. My whole body was cramping because I just wasn't consuming enough calories. And I was cramping, and I looked at you. I was about to go out there, and I was like, I don't think I can go out there. And you looked at me and you're like, get it together. Go out there and do the workout and get it done. Do you remember that?
I do.
And I went out there and did the workout and was in the top 30. And I think I was sitting in 12th at that point. And I can never forget, because you hit that wall mentally and physically, and you just don't think you can do it anymore.
Right.
And so it's just put it down, do the work, get it done.
Yeah.
So it kind of takes me back to another equation of kind of growing up on the farm and kind of like being brought up and kind of transition into, being brought up on the farm, and then your mother of two, and kind of like how that world kind of plays into this, upbringing and all that stuff. So, you said your father went to the gym. We know that was a big impact on you and all that. And how do you see that now rolling into your children and kind of the actions they take in the space? Because I think your daughter took on the open with you.
Yes. I think growing up the way we did, our dad is a hard worker. That's what he does. And I think we're not scared of work. I think that's what comes about. It's like we're not scared to work hard. We're not scared to get dirty. We're not scared to get tired. We're not scared to go without food. We just aren't scared of those things. And so, that is an example of the things I've chosen to do and the events and in my competition and what I've done. But, and I think that is exactly what our children see, including Chris. He's not scared to work hard. And that's just kind of the way we were built, if you will. And yes, it does come from our parents and our upbringing. And I know that our children see that. They do as we do. And so that's one thing I want our children to know is work. You can work hard and balance everything, and that's important for them to see me balance out my work and have a good time as well, and spend time with them, but not be scared to get the work done.
Yeah. So again, Savannah did the open, and she's done some competitions, and she's now 11.
She's 10.
10. Okay. And she just turned 10. And so where do you see kind of her, view of the sport of CrossFit and getting influence and all that stuff?
She, it's great. Stone is a very similar to me, and Savannah is very similar to Chris. And obviously they carry similarities of both of us, but Savannah is so determined, and she gets in her mind. She's just a thinker, and she's extremely creative. She is an entrepreneur. She has everything pretty much she wants to charge for. So she creates things, and then she wants to sell them. And so with her doing the open, and even like looking over at Chris at one point, and Chris saying, okay, I'll give you that rep. She literally stops and looks at him and says, don't give me that rep. Don't do that again. Gets mad at him for that. She didn't want to take the easy road. She's willing to put in the work as well. And she goes to work with me some days. She wants to know how she can work up at the gym and what she can do. And then also she wants to sell her own art and crafts, and she builds vending machine for the neighborhood kids to put their money in and sell candy out of. So that was her most recent creation by her. It's called Do It Yourself, DIY. She does her DIY projects, and she's creative, determined, and she's not probably, you're not going to outwork her.
Yeah.
Unless she just chooses not to work hard that one moment or something.
So kind of even transitioning, I know you've done a lot of goal setting and leadership training yourself, going through courses, and you've done training for women specifically, and your gym and your clients. And so kind of like just diving into some specifics of helping people kind of along their journey, what's really in your sense of coaching or goal coaching or your champion mindset type of protocols, what's some advice you'd give to an athlete or a client, a female client, just looking to say get fit or get into health and wellness?
I think it comes down to choosing, right? To choosing the road and the path that you want to follow. And what I mean by that is I think so many of us see something that we want and we're stuck in the way that we do things, and we say we want it, but we're not doing the things, right? So you can say you want something, and you can even say I've written it down and it's a goal, but all your actions lead you not towards that something, towards that goal that you want to achieve. And so we have to step back and say, okay, what do you not know? Do you not know what the steps are to get there? Then let's break it down and let's find out what the steps are so that you can get there. Or do you really not want to get there? And are you enjoying where you're at? I think people get comfortable with who they are, and they do want to change, but there's probably some fear there in saying, okay, what would this look like? Will people see me the same? So it is really choosing, what do you want? And saying, in saying that, and in saying that, understanding that some of your old habits may have to change. And if you don't understand what those habits are or what you need to do to change, seek out a coach or, some counsel that can really help you to break down, tear away, and get to the specifics. Because true change comes with habits that are broken and then readjusted so that you have success moving towards your goals. Choice.
Mm-hmm. And then, even for an advice for an athlete wanting to get into CrossFit and compete, what would your recommendation in that sense be?
Find a group of people that you enjoy hanging around with and sweating together, kind of going to that dark place together. Why? Because you're in a support system. So I think finding that community is super important and first. And then really, when you're in that and when you're exercising, what is your mindset? What are you telling yourself you can do? Are you saying I am going to win? Or are you making excuses? I'm tired. It's hot. What are you telling yourself? So that the things you tell yourself is what's going to happen. I see it all the time. We're coaching, and I literally can look at an athlete and ask, what were you just thinking? Because their body language and their mind, interpreted by their movement or exercise, failed or successful lift, is exactly what they were saying to themselves. So it is find a support system and a community, and then let's make sure that we are telling ourselves the successful things to make you win. And then we have to find out, where are you as an athlete? Where are your skills? And let's start to work on your certain skills so that you can start to improve and see yourself as a competitive athlete.
Mm-hmm. So I kind of like to think about this as kind of like your passion or your soapbox, and kind of right now, kind of where's your mindset, or what do you really have a pulse on or pushing for right now, kind of in your space, something push a nerve or touch a nerve for you in your current.
Regarding like my goals, or
not just everything, as everything is everything, as you look out into the space of health and wellness or culture or, goal setting, kind of what's a hot button for you right now?
You know, what comes to mind is being spiritually connected. That to me, I feel like when I think there's so many things in everybody's lives and we're so busy and we have so much going on, that staying grounded in knowing that there's something bigger than ourselves, that I don't have to do it alone, that strikes a chord with me. That because I am extremely busy, I have a lot going on, and I'm working extremely hard, and I get tired, and I have to remember that I'm not doing this alone. And for others in what's going on in the world, I think that we have to stay grounded in a connection. Mine is God. Mine is a Christian connection and a spiritual connection, that I have to still, say, hey, I have time for this. This is space I must create, because if I don't, I'll feel suffocated. I'll feel like I can't do it or can't go on. So that's I don't know if that's kind of what you're asking, but I know that definitely speaks volumes to me. And it's I have to do a daily reminder to myself to start my day and to continually throughout the day remind myself that I'm not doing this alone, and there's something bigger making this universe operate.
Absolutely. So any other things you'd like to leave the podcast with? All right. That's awesome. Love it. Well, so we're going to be watching as you go out to StubHub Center and take on that 40-44 Masters competition in a short month or less or more, just a short way away. So we're excited for you and be rooting you on, and good luck.
Awesome. Thank you.
We appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Please hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Conversate with us. Let us know what it is that you want to hear, see, or do on the podcast, guys. This is all about value for you, and we want to make it the best possible. So thank y'all so much for listening, and we will see you soon.